this video, we're going to go into a little bit more detail around trying to price yourself properly on Fiverr. Now, the way Fiverr works is that people usually start selling their services from $5. That's what the website is all about. But what you've got to understand is how much is your time worth. Now, I'm a UK seller, and the pound is worth a little bit more than $1. So I've got to ensure that when I'm working through all the gigs, it's actually worth my time and I'm not working for less than what is the UK minimum wage. As we can see on the screen here, what you can actually see is my current earnings dashboard. Now, some of the payments are pending and it takes 2 weeks for those payments to go through until I can then withdraw them from my account. So as you can see, I'm just shy of $10,000 net income, which is fantastic. I've currently just got just under $200 ready for withdrawal. But as you can see here, this is the kind of key point I want to get to, is the amount that I'm selling per gig. Now, if you're selling lots of $5 gigs and that one gig takes you 30 minutes to do, you're only going to be earning $10 an hour. Now, is that really worth your time is the big question. But also remember that you're not going to be getting gigs every hour of every day. So you might only have 1 or 2 gigs a day, 1 or 2 gigs a week, and therefore the actual time made per hour isn't as much. So let's have a look at my clearings page, and this is the most important part here. This is the point that I want to try and get across in the video. So as you can see here, some of the gigs I'm selling, that one went for $40, I made 64 on that one, 32, 20, 20, and typically I tend to take about 10, usually 15 minutes maximum on the gig, and that means if I can get through, say 4 or 5 an hour, and I'm selling, for example, some, and actually a lot do go through for $5, and this is taking the 20% fee off of it as well. So here, if I can get through 4 or 5 of these gigs in an hour, I might have one where I have $40 and I get through it really quickly. I have another one that's 64, and all of a sudden that's more than $100 made in one single hour, which is great. And that's the point I'm trying to make around understanding how long it takes for you to finish that one gig. If it's going to take you 1 hour to finish a gig and you're selling your services for $5, it's going to take a lot of time to make a reasonable amount of income on Fiverr. Whereas here, if you're making $40 sales and $64 sales, and you're doing 4 or 5 of these every single hour, then that's where all of a sudden the money can be really, really lucrative on Fiverr, and that's how you really start to position yourself in the market. There's definitely a big balance between making sure that you're selling your services for the right price, otherwise people are just not going to buy the gig. Fiverr is known for being a cheap website, so you don't want to price it too high too soon because you just won't make those sales. But it's understanding how you give people great value while also trying to keep it really, really quick. That could be having templates or style sheets that you use to speed up the work, be that design, writing, SEO, whatever it is. Find a way to systemize that process, and that will help you get through as many gigs as possible within a 1 hour period to ensure that you can increase your hourly rate as much as possible to make it beneficial and lucrative on Fiverr. For me personally, I tend to get through 4 or 5 gigs in an hour, and those gigs can usually be priced at an average of around $12. I think that's my average. Now, as you can see on this screen, actually it tells me my average selling price. My average selling price gig per gig basis is actually £10, and for some reason Fiverr converts this page to pounds and all the rest of it's dollars, which makes no sense, but it's £10 here. So if I can get through 4 or 5 of these in an hour, my hourly rate is about £50 an hour, or about $65 which all of a sudden becomes very lucrative. And obviously there's not enough orders coming in to have that all day every day, so it's not £50 an hour or $65 an hour all day every day. It's kind of segmented here and there, but it's a nice side income. And it's something that makes it very, very worthwhile, rather than just working for £5 or $5 an hour. So let's have a look at YouTube thumbnails. Now, this is my niche that I work in, it's my speciality, and it's been a really, really hot product recently, and that's what's driving a lot of my sales. So as I've typed in here the main keyword YouTube thumbnails, and I'll touch on SEO later and how to rank in the Fiverr search engine, you can actually see my gig here, which is 3rd. That's actually really good. It's jumped up recently. So let's have a look at the way people are pricing themselves. Now, because I'm in the UK, you're seeing UK prices here, so you have to tweak a little bit for dollars. But as you can see here, I offer one thumbnail for $5, and let's have a look here. This person is hugely, hugely underselling himself. He's going to design 5 thumbnails in 24 hours for $5. That's $1 a thumbnail. Now, Usually a good thumbnail would take 5 to 10 minutes each, so that's going to take him easily 1 hour to create all of those. So he's really underselling himself, and he's got some reviews and people are ordering from him. It's a good tactic if you're brand new and you're happy to get those reviews in, but it's not going to be efficient for that person as more and more orders come in. He's really underselling his service there. As you can see, this person here who is a level 1 seller, so he's also been bumped up due to the algorithm, he is offering one thumbnail, but he's actually selling that for $10 or £7.90. So that's actually more than what I'm selling mine for. There are kind of certain variances with this as well. So as you can see here, this seller is doing custom and drawn YouTube thumbnails, and he's selling them. I'm going to assume that's probably about $25 he's selling it for. But that's a custom service, it's custom drawn, and it's very different to what I would do on Photoshop, designing and laying out a more digital thumbnail rather than drawing it from scratch. So that does make sense in terms of a specialist service. And Fiverr obviously like this one so much, they've actually given it a Fiverr's Choice stamp, and that's going to be really, really good for him making sales. So as you can see here on the page, there's lots of different price points. Usually people are selling one thumbnail for $5. I've seen some doing 2 or 3 for $5. There's obviously the one guy doing 5 for $5, which is quite underselling himself. It all depends. You have to do your research. Just look through whatever gig you're selling and just understand what people are offering and for how much. And that could be, for example, if you're a copywriter, you might sell 250 words per $5. Some might be selling 500 words per $5. It's just understanding what other people are doing and pricing yourself in the right point to get sales, but also not undersell yourself.